What is up, team? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. So in case you don't realize, I literally just came back from work. At the moment, I have a placement in Liverpool. I wake up at 5:45 and I come back at 5:30. Although yesterday, you guys would not believe, it took me 2.5 hours to get home when usually it would take me like an hour depending on what train I take. And then I had men's tryouts to go to. Anyway, today I want to talk to you guys about how I study. So recently I've been getting a lot of messages about where to start, what to study, how to study, what textbooks, all that good stuff. So that's what I'm gonna talk to you guys about today. If you guys don't know, I am a physiotherapy student, so this will have a lot of physiotherapy orientated tips, but they are definitely transferable to whatever course you guys are doing. So let's get started. Let's start with the absolute beginning of where to start when it comes to studying. And that is supplies. What do you need? This is kind of important in terms of trying to stay organized and making sure that you have everything that you need to before uni starts. Especially in physiotherapy, you have your different subjects, you have your different areas. So personally, I like to have a notebook for each section. If you want to look back on a certain area, then you know which notebook it is, and it keeps it nice and organized because let me just tell you, I have a couple friends, Jules, that has a notebook where it's just like anything and everything. And so you're like flipping through looking for like a specific thing that you know you wrote down, but looking for that through a like 200-page notebook, that ain't it. It just helps you out in the future. Supplies wise, let me grab my pencil case. So this is my pencil case. How many of these pens do I use? Probably like 4 of them. So I am, like many people, a stationery freak. So I love going to stationery stores and looking at pens. So just to let you know, you don't need those. You really don't. Really, all you need is, get ready, a black pen, a pencil, a highlighter, a colored pen, and maybe an eraser or rubber. All of these, throw them. How I kind of do it, actually, be right back again, I'll get my notes. So, you guys may recognize this notebook from my lovely productive weekend or something. As you can see, pen, highlighter, black pen, and it's so soft, but this doodle, pencil. Oh, and sticky notes. That's all you need. Honestly, that's all you need. So the way I split it up is generally I write my notes in black pen. Then you use colored pens for any titles or different sections. So for instance, neuroplasticity, macro responses, micro responses, nerve regrowth. Then I use my highlighter for special terms or important terms to remember. Sometimes if there's like a section which is like I should remember, for instance, nerve regrowth is higher in the peripheral nervous system than the central nervous system. That I wrote in my red pen because I wanted it to stand out. So when I look at my notes, I can my eyes will pinpoint into the important bits. I like to have like little sticky notes because especially in physio you have so many different sections and different parts. So for instance, like if there's a definition or kind of like a separate section that you want to put on the side, that's how I use my sticky notes. So for instance, I have my neuroplasticity section, and then on this sticky note, as you see here, I wrote the role of physiotherapy. So that's kind of my tips, is to make sure you don't have too many colors. Sometimes too many colors just makes it look overwhelming and really does nothing but make it worse. So try and keep it simple but organized. And I know some people don't really care about it looking pretty. That's not me. I like to make it look pretty. Just find your own way of doing your notes. That's kind of what I like to do. Also, no judging here. I know I look tired and it's been a long day.
You look beautiful!
Now that we have some tea, let's carry on. So I've also been getting questions about what textbooks you should buy or look out for, anything like that that could help with the study. What are you doing? Oh my god. Oh my god. Damn.
I'm so funny.
first things first, you'll have textbooks in the library, and there are a lot of textbooks at the library. So like anatomy textbooks and all of that, those are usually a lot more expensive just because they're a lot thicker. So with those ones, I kind of recommend that you just kind of get them from the library. Or if you sign up to CSP, if you're studying in the UK, you pay like a membership and you get a free anatomy book with that, but it's kind of one of those pocket books. So that's the plus side if you sign up. And those are really good just to carry around with you, especially to universities. Like if you have those practicals, keep them with you, because you never know when you're gonna need them. But if you do end up taking out a textbook from the library, don't hog them, just because other people are gonna want those textbooks. So let's say if you do have enough money to buy your own anatomy textbook, then why the hell not get one? The good thing about textbooks is that if you purchase them, then you'll have them for the rest of your life, and it's not like you're only going to be using it in university, especially when you start doing rotations and you go from like a cardiorespiratory placement to a neurology placement, and you need to kind of spice up your anatomy or your knowledge on certain sectors, then having those textbooks already at home is definitely a plus. And of course, if you do have your own textbook, it also means that you can doodle in them and note in them and highlight and all of that. But there are so many that you can get on Amazon. Sorry, I'm on my phone because I'm gonna show you. Yeah, you can get them on Amazon, or there can be student deals on certain like physio websites. Like I think there's one called Student Physio on Instagram. I think they always have discounts on there. Or even if you know some past physio students or medical students who might be selling their textbooks secondhand. So if I go, okay, physiotherapy textbook. So this first one that you see, that's one of the ones that can come with your CSP membership. So that's a really good one, and that's kind of the one that I would get. All of the Eleanor main ones are really, really good, and I recommend them. So you have that cardio respiratory one, and then if I scroll down, sometimes they have like related ones too. Oh yeah, so here, physical management for neurological conditions, musculoskeletal examination assessment. Textbooks are good to reference to when you're doing written assignments, especially when you're talking about anatomy. Even so, like, just a little tip, when it comes to essays and assignments like that, honestly, just purely use journal articles, because journals are really good to use as evidence and clinical reasoning in your essays. You're still wearing the glasses.
I think they're a vibe. Don't you think so?
Definitely a vibe, and I love that it still has a tag on it as well. When it comes to textbooks, I say always try and get one up to date, because we always say that evidence is kind of only valid within the 10-year mark from today's date. Especially when it comes to textbooks, they definitely come out with new editions. So obviously getting the most up-to-date edition is the best bet. So, my tea is so hot. Have you had a sip yet? It smells so good though. So what are my tips to help you study or to make it more efficient? First of all, one of the things that I do, especially nowadays, is kind of make myself a cheat sheet. So if you just finish neuro, or if you're doing neuro, gradually over time, just kind of like make a little cheat sheet of like the things that you've gone through, and simple bullet points as to like what it is or where it is or what it does. You want to make it as simple as possible. So if you needed just like a quick brush up of kind of the basic points, that you could just go to your cheat sheet and just have a read through. So like making them for each unit that you do would be really, really beneficial. Actually, before I go into my next point, I'll just put up on the screen my neuro-based cheat sheet just to kind of give you an idea. Leads me on to my next point, which is what I also talked about in my productive weekend, I believe, which is making a list of the things that you want to achieve or you want to make sure that you touch on. So sometimes, especially in physio, you have so many different elements that you need to hit and you need to study. So writing a list just makes sure that you're hitting each one of them. And especially while you're studying, you're going to come across new things that you're like, I don't know what that means, or I don't know what that does, or what the heck is that? Those types of things you can write down on the list and hit later. Because I find that sometimes you can kind of go off in a tangent just trying to figure out what one thing means, and then you just totally lose track. So lists are definitely a blessing and something that you should do. I really want to take a sip of this tea, but it's so hot. Watch, I'm gonna burn my tongue right now.
Burn.
Not bad. Not bad. So I'm gonna try and keep this short and sweet. So the last point that I kind of want to talk about is, I know some people are starting in October and they don't know where to start or what to study or anything like that. So I kind of wanted to give you some basics or things that you could kind of go through if you wanted. But again, some of these things might be stuff that you go through in second year, because obviously every university is structured in a different way. If you know you're not going to be doing it in first year, then you don't need to worry about it. Don't give yourself more stress than you need to. Especially in the first year, I find that physiotherapy is very anatomy based and a lot of information overload. You're like, oh my freaking gosh, how am I supposed to remember all of this? And to be honest, you don't really. You just need to have a basic knowledge, so then gradually, as you do more units, you're able to build on that knowledge, because you're building a nice base. I'm getting really warm. Let's open the window. Okay, so basics wise, you can go through your muscle anatomy, get an idea of like your body actions and kind of what types of muscles might play a part. Bone anatomy, joint anatomy too, and joint anatomy more so connects to like different types of joints, your ligaments and tendons. But as I say, my recommendation is that you don't overload yourself and instead you kind of go bit by bit. And then more kind of specializing into certain subjects, you could look at your heart structure, lung anatomy, parts of the brain. And I know this could be a bit overwhelming because you're like, oh my god, that is so much stuff. But you don't have to go into uni already knowing everything. That is the point of uni. Uni is for you to learn, for you to practice and everything like that. This is just to kind of give you an idea, because obviously people are going to be at different study levels, so some people might already have an understanding of muscles. My biggest tip of all for studying is to have an outlet, to have a break. Physio is all about information overload, right? And everything can start to kind of like jumble. Take a break, you deserve a break, but obviously be smart with how long you're taking off. You don't want to kind of study for half an hour, take an hour break. So my outlet is either volleyball or like the gym. Do you have any tips?
Hello. Excuse the glasses, I'm just trying a new look. But yeah, I think studying varies person to person. Make sure that when you go into class, try to pay attention, because that's where maximum learning is done. Yeah, take a break, as Andie said. She's taught me how to take a break, because I am horrible at taking breaks when it comes to studying. If I sit down, I need to plow through, and then I realize I've exhausted my brain so much. It's because physio is intense. Like,
yeah, it is.
People don't discuss it enough. It's intense.
Yeah. I know some of you are actually in second year or even like third year like us and are on placement, and placement is such an incredible time for you to actually make sense of everything that you've learned in university. So that's why it's so important. Like if you're going to class, paying attention, doing what you need to do, if you put in the time, then the outcome is gonna be what you want it to be. You guys are gonna be fine. Physio is so interesting. If there's any further questions that you have about studying, let me know in the comments below. Or that's it for today's video. I'm gonna make dinner, meal prep for tomorrow. Remember to like and subscribe. You guys are incredible. I made a little joke saying to get to 400 subscribers. Then we made 400 subscribers when I uploaded the video. And then I'm like, okay, let's get to 450 by next week as a joke to my friends. You guys, we're at 415 subscribers today. What does that mean? Press that subscribe button. Let's get to 450, because now I know that you guys can do it. So tell your friends, spread the word. We are growing this family, and this family is all about positivity and kind of supporting each other, becoming a nice community. And that's kind of what I want out of this channel, is just to give you guys advice and be real and just tell you guys that you're not alone. We all have struggles, we all have successes, we all have ups and downs. That's just how life is, and that's how we grow as people. So that was hella deep, but you know what? Anyway, who cares? Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and I'll see you next week. Bye.